Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me. I'll try to make it short and sweet. And it's always great to be back at the GSP. Because the company is us, people. Dream. The idea of the dream is something that comes naturally. We always had dream in our lives, you know. We've always dreamt of something. And that's what keeps us going. That Monday morning, when you're tired, when it's snowy out there, not here, when it's cold, or too warm, maybe too warm here, and you feel like, oh man, I have to bike to class. But you have that dream. You have that dream of, you know, doing well at school, dating that person, you know, being hired by that company, buying that car. So dream is something that for human beings click, I think, much more than visions and missions. Missions are for military, visions are for, I don't know for whom. But dream is something that we all understand, because throughout our life, dream is something that has always propped us up to the next step. So in our company, we don't have vision, we don't have a mission, we have a dream. We want to be the best in what we do in a better world. That's it. Okay? And why is the dream important? First, because again, it's about human beings. Second, because dream big or dream small takes the same amount of energy. Think about that. One or the other takes the same amount of energy. So why not dream big? You know, if you don't do it for yourself, nobody will knock at your door and say, hey, your dream's too small. Why don't you aim here? Nobody will do that. And in our experience, we've always reached our dreams, never the way we planned. That's real life. Because you learn, because competition does something, the environment changes. But if you have a dream that's stretched enough, that you know 80% how to get there, and the other 20, you learn along the way. You believe you can learn along the way. That's something that can inspire people, get the bar higher, and getting the bar higher, you tell the message, good is not good enough, guys. If you want to be the best in what we do and go from here to here, that's the gap. We need the very best to get us there. So the dream is only good if people buy into it, if they commit to it, if they bring their passion to it. That's why I don't like the word fun. I think fun is too weak. I don't like people in a company to have fun. I have fun at the beach with my kids. I like people in the company to have fun, sure, plus passion, plus commitment, plus energy, plus lots of other things. You know, fun is too weak, you know, if you want to be the best in what we do. But there are differences. Again, the dream is to be something that inspires and credible enough so people buy into it, because you have to work hard. It's not a target, it's a dream. And by definition, it's a tough one. It's a stretched one. It's not an adventure. If you put out there an adventure and say, guys, we're going to double the value of the company next year, and people say, oh my God, okay, you're going to commit to that. I'm going to do something else. That's an adventure. An adventure is when you know 20% how to get there, and you believe, wrongly, in our experience, that 80% you can discover along the way. Dream is the opposite. You know 80% how to get there, but that 20% stretch, as per our experience, is what you learn. And the learning curve, copying from others, tripping over things that you didn't know were there, or just, you know, learning from the environment. That's a dream. And the dream has to be powerful enough to commit people. And again, dream big or small takes the same amount of energy. The other thing about the dream that's very important is that dream big brings the best of people. Think about this. Think about the high jump. I mean, dream is about this. I mean, you put the threshold here. You put the bar here. Which human being having the bar here, even if the guy could, would jump here? Because we're rational. We optimize energy. We optimize time. So if the bar is here, we're going to jump enough to clear the hurdle, even if you can jump here. So the idea of the dream is that, is the high jump, is to keep putting the bar higher so you can see what you, the company, the team, the group, can do. And as a leader, it's an art and science. You have to keep putting that bar higher and higher until you find that limit with what you have today, and then you learn some more, and then next year you can do a bit higher, but with what's the maximum performance you can deliver. So that's the first thing, and that's very important, because if you don't buy into the dream, a lot of things I'm going to say from now on don't make any sense. If you're just trying to survive as a company, 9 to 6, you know, just have a job because I have other interests and that's it, forget it. That's not the company for you, that kind of company. Okay? So that's why the dream is very important. Great companies are formed by great people. Obvious. But so many people forget about it. People think that great companies are formed by great products, great cash flow, great installations, assets, asset base. No. Even in a consumer goods company, what distinguishes you from an average company is the kind of people you can attract, retain, deploy, develop, train, promote within your company. That's it. Because behind a brand that's doing well in the market, you have people that understood consumers, had the insights, execute according to the insights, and translated all that behind the brand. That's why the brand's successful. Not because of the brand. The brand was there, was the second step. First step was to have great people. Okay? So again, great companies can only be formed by great people. Second thing, great people attract more great people. That's important because the opposite is very sad. Mediocre people attract more mediocre people. They like to work together, you know. It's amazing. Mediocre people love to work together because nobody challenges anybody. The targets that they give to each other are kind of, you know, easy. You know 120% how to get there January 1st. So it's a piece of cake. Everything is fine. The feedbacks in your yearly performance evaluation is always like, you're a great guy. No gaps. I mean, you're terrific. You're going to be the next president of this company one day. You know, you're so great. Mediocre people. They love that. Great people is the opposite. They love to challenge each other. They don't take it personal because they know it's for the best of the business. They know it's not about themselves, it's about the business. So you can they know there's no hidden agenda. So you can challenge them in meetings because it's all about what's best for the business. And they like to work with each other because by challenging one another, they keep raising the bar. And that brings the best in you, that forces you to continue to be updated and learn because everybody else is pressuring you. That's why it's so good to hire people that are better than you because they force you to be better. If you hire a whole bunch of mediocre people that think that you're the greatest guy on earth, you're going to start going like this because you have no incentive, no push to get better. Okay? That's the other thing. What's great? You say, I'm saying great people attract more of great people. What's great? If there is a lack of definition anywhere, just take you and your colleagues as a benchmark. I'm not saying we were great, but if this is what we know, myself and my colleagues, I want to hire people that with the right training and the right development can be better in some years than we are today. That's great. And smart people are not afraid of that. Mediocre people are very afraid of that. They don't want very bright people in their teams because, hey, that's going to overshadow me. That's going to put me out of job, you know. Smart people, even for the wrong reasons, they arrive at the same place. That's much better to have a team of high achievers because that will help you as a leader to get to your targets in a more consistent way, and it will help you to get promoted faster because you have a pipeline of people. So even if you're selfish, so even if you're thinking about the wrong things, only think about you, not about the business, you get to the same place. That it's better to have in your team great people, very talented people, because that will be good for you. And if you think in a more noble way, that's the best thing for the company. Okay? First, who is the leader in the company? We say anybody who needs a team to get to a target. If you can get to a target by yourself, in that role, you're not being a leader. You don't need to be a leader. You're not in a leadership position because by yourself you can get to your target. If you need a team to get together to a target, you're in a leadership position. What's the definition of leadership? Companies, people write books about it. We have three dimensions. Leadership is all about delivering results on a consistent basis with your team, because by the very definition you cannot do it alone, doing it the right way. So you can build on top and you can replicate the way you did it to other parts of the business. That's leadership. Leadership is a very important trait in guys like you that are going to join companies. Very hard to define, but you know when you see a good one. These three things are just basic definitions, but I like to say other things about leadership. Leadership is a guy that can see the world out there, which is a very complex world, and translate that via analysis into simple things. Think about this. I have, out of the 100,000+ people in our company, we have 70,000 that are sales reps. They're very smart. They're street smart. But I don't have time to explain them everything that happens in the marketplace in terms of deep dives, studies, analysis that we do, elasticities, everything we do in the marketplace. Not because they can't get it, because they don't have time. They're busy. They're the ones bringing the money in, facing the customers. They need to have customer-facing time. So as a leader, we need to understand the world out there, which is very complex, but translate that into 2, 3, 5 action things that can be done by 80,000 people. Think about the automobile. Think about the automobile. How many of us drive here? Everybody. Think about if we had to understand about thermodynamics, mechanical engineer, metal, everything that goes into a car, under the hood. Somebody was smart enough to put 2 pedals and a steering wheel and a shift, and everybody drives, even without knowing what's under the hood. That's genius. You took a very complex type machine, and you made it so simple to operate that billions of people around the world can operate. That's the thing about leadership in a company. 90% of the people in the company, if you were to compare with a ship, need to be running the engine room. But you need some people in the bridge, looking at the bridge, looking at where the ship's going. But the 90% doesn't need to know that. They need to because they have a busy life, very busy life. So leadership's about that. We look at leaders, and one of the traits that we look a lot is the capacity that they have to form, find, recruit, retain, develop people. Because leaders that can only use people that were developed by others, they're good leaders. But they're not the ones that will get you 20 years from now, 30 years from now with the kind of pipeline that you need. The other thing that's very important for guys like you that are going to be leaders in the organization is to know what kind of pressure to put in the system. Look at the Olympics, World Cup, the Giants when they were playing their games, the World Series, congratulations, by the way. And it took 50 years, but fine, yeah. But you look at professional athletes playing. They're not having fun when they're about to play. Think about the 100-meter dash. They film those guys. They're totally focused. They're not thinking about anything else other than to get from here to here in 9 seconds or whatever, okay? So they're totally focused, and there's a lot of pressure built from the fact that you have 60,000 people watching them, their contracts, their family, their wives, whoever. In a company, if you want the best of people, as a leader, you have to put pressure all the time. If you put too much pressure, people panic. That's bad. That's bad. If you put too little pressure, people are having a great time. The targets are easy, and you don't expect too much. If we grow half of what we could, that's fine. That's okay. We'll pay bonus for that as well. And, shareholders didn't get their value. There was no value creation, but we'll pay bonus anyway, and that kind of thing. No. You won't get the best of people. And again, the great people will leave. They don't like this kind of environment. So as a leader, you need to know that people, all of us, we are at our best when we are under pressure, healthy pressure. Think about school. When do you really get your mind around things? This is when you have a deadline, right? You have a deadline. You have that work that you need to deliver tomorrow. Man, you are as focused as a razor blade, and you don't think about anything. You cancel everything. Your social agenda goes to hell. Your Facebook is off. Everything is off. You just work on that thing. That's when you get the best of you. When you get transferred within a company to we like to do that a lot, what we call the crazy promotions. We got a guy from sales, put the guy in supply chain, for example, because we believe that that's the way to build people. And again, the magic word, take people out of their comfort zone. Whenever we are in a place that's too comfortable, it's bad. That's bad. You have to take from time to time people from their comfort zone, because that's when this whole idea of the athlete, 100-meter dashboard, that focus, that thing, oh my God, I had 3 months to learn this new job, that's when you really move to the next level. If you stay 10 years in the same job, not saying the same company, we love people staying 20 years, 30 years in our company, but 10 years doing the same thing, the same job, in the same region, at some point you get stale. You get used to the landscape. You don't see, A from B, black from white, because everything has been there for such a long time. And you can only learn this much per day. And as you don't learn because you're used to it, you're not going to recover that going forward. So you're wasting your time. Okay? So that's very important too, that whole pressure. Take people out of the comfort zone. That's the way to develop great people. The company is us. I mean, myself and 100,000 other colleagues of mine, they are the company. If we're excited, knowing what we want to do, aligned, inspired, moving forward, learning, attracting better people than we are all the time, the company is moving in that direction. It's progressing. It's growing. If we're all going in different directions, waiting for somebody else to solve our problems, not acting on things we should act, like low performance or poor performance, and, feeling that, we're big, everything's going to be fine, we'll never fail, that's the first step into failing. And that doesn't get you to be a great company. Meritocracy. Easier said than done. Again, in sports, of course, it's meritocracy. The good players play. The others don't. In school, of course, if you have an F, you know exactly what it means. You fail. If you have an A, you got the scholarship. Of course. But then you get to the company. Performance evaluations are not that straightforward. Because you're saying, today's a Friday, poor guy. I mean, poor me and poor him. I mean, or poor her. I'll wait for the Monday. And then Monday you're traveling. A year goes by, 2 years, 10 years, and you never said, your coworker, what this person needs to listen. You play God. You play God. You say, no, I'm going to manage it this way. I'm not going to say it today because I think by himself, for some, strange reason, he's going to click to it, get better, and therefore I can avoid this, moment that we're going to have now. Of course, it never happens because this click, it doesn't happen. Constructive feedback is what gets people to get better. In my life, I owe a lot to what I learned to constructive and respectful feedback. That's what gets you to progress, people that are interested in your success. But for that, you have to have tough conversations. It's not everything rosy. Okay? So again, they like meritocracy. And think about this. It's so easy. Again, peer pressure. You go to a company. You lead a business unit. You have a vacancy. Somebody got promoted. And you have to fill that vacancy. I mean, in sports, you'd go for the best player. But in the company, people start pressuring you and say, well, what about Mike? Mike has been here for 2 years. I mean, he deserves it, Okay, he's not the sharpest tool in the den. But, I mean, it's pretty good. People like him. I'm sure it's going to be okay. And then you have Jane, who just joined 2 years ago, and, deserves that big time because built a track record, is a culture ambassador, has potential, is a much better fit. And sometimes if you promote Mike, nobody will ask you questions but Jane. If you promote Jane, Jane won't ask you a question, but everybody else will. And guess what? If you promote Mike, Jane sees through that, and she leaves. And all of a sudden, you're left with only the mediocre people who thinks that this thing of patronizing and promoting the senior guys is the best thing to do, as opposed to meritocracy. The worst thing in a company, since you cannot please everybody, that's another lesson that I learned time and time again. If you cannot please everybody, please the most talented ones. I'd rather have the most talented people saying, this is my company. And people that are mediocre say, oh man, that's a drag. I think I'm going to leave this company. Great. They're going to leave the company. So, because sometimes the way to solve a problem is to create a problem. That's why when you have a poor performing guy, you should give 2, 3 feedbacks, of course. Because people, again, they grow with feedback, constructive, positive feedback. But after 3 feedbacks, a year went past, the guy's not performing, it's better for both of you to let that guy go. First, because you create a problem, that vacancy. And in creating a problem, you have to solve the problem. If the guy remains there for another 10 years because you don't have the problem, you don't have the urge to solve the problem. So create the problem, let the guy go, because that guy could be a huge success in another company, but not here. So don't waste his time. Life's too short. Don't waste his or her time. Tell him or her what they need to know and move on. Okay? So that sounds like harsh, but it's not. Think about sports. That's what happens, and we accept it. I'm not saying we like it, but we accept it. So again, guys, thank you very much for being here. Thanks for your time. Thank you.